Okay, now let's start with topic force experienced by a moving or flat plate by the impact of jets. Okay, so before we study the topic, we should know few terms related to mechanics. Okay, so the first term is vector. So we know vector is the quantity having both magnitude and direction. Okay, so it's having a direction and the length in that direction is the magnitude of the vector. So any one vector defines one direction. Okay, so if you have one vector means you are having one direction. Okay, magnitude of a vector is the magnitude of the scalar associated with the vector. Okay, and then we have unit vector. Okay, so unit vector is the vector having a magnitude of unity means 1 and in the direction of the given vector. Okay, so a cap is the unit vector in the direction of vector a. Okay, now if you are showing vector a by this arrow, then and you are increasing the magnitude of that vector a, so this vector has increased in size but the direction is has remained the same. Okay, so increase in magnitude but direction remains the same. Now we have zero vector or null vector. So zero vector or null vector is the vector having zero magnitude means zero quantity of a scalar associated with it. Okay, means zero magnitude and the direction of a zero vector is in all direction. Okay, it does not have a particular direction, it is pointing to every direction. Okay, so that's the zero vector. Now we have dot or a scalar product. So resultant of a dot or a scalar product will give a scalar value. Okay, so if you are having two vectors a and b, then the dot or a scalar product will give a scalar value. Okay, so a dot b is equal to ab cos theta, where theta is the angle between a and b. Okay, now we have vector or cross product. So vector and cross product will give a vector, resultant will be a vector. Okay, which will be perpendicular to the plane of a and b. Okay, so a cross b is equal to ab sin theta. N is the unit vector along the direction perpendicular to the plane of a and b. Okay, so ab sin theta is the magnitude of the resultant vector and n cap is the direction of the resultant vector. Okay, so we see here that this has been a plane. Okay, so this is a plane and in the plane we have two vectors a and b. Okay, so the cross product of a into b means you have to use right hand thumb rule, that going from a to b. Okay, the thumb will direct the direction of the resultant. Okay, so we are having from a to b. If you are curling the finger from the fingers of right hand. Okay, so if you are curling the finger of right hand from a to b, the resultant will be shown by a into b. Okay, so this is a to b and this is the direction of a cross b. Okay, similarly we have b cross a. So we are going from vector b to a and the resultant will be perpendicular to the plane. Okay, and the direction will be given by the thumb. Okay, so you have to wrap your fingers from b to a and the thumb will show the direction of the resultant. Okay, so this is the cross product. Okay, now you have to remember two things. Okay, you have to keep in mind two things, that both a and b vectors that we are showing here are protruding away from the resultant. Okay, protruding away from the resultant. Okay, so if you have to compute the cross product as in case of torque or moment. Okay, so in that case you have to draw the position vector and the force vector like this, that they should not be intersecting one. Okay, that you don't draw the vectors going to that this center. Okay, you don't make the direction of vectors into that. Okay, direct the, if you are doing the cross vector cross product, so you must put the vectors like this. Okay, so the direction should be like this, that they are going away. Okay, so both A and B are going away. So this way you can find the cross product. Okay, now the direction of the vector, the resultant vector, that we were saying that this is coming out of the plane and this is going into the plane. So this is the representation that we use to represent a vector going into the plane, and this is the representation we use for the vector coming out of the plane. Okay, okay, so this is the vector notation and right hand thumb rule for the cross product. Okay, now we have work is the dot product of force into displacement. Okay, so FDS cos theta means force into the distance and the product of force into the distance moved along the direction of the force. Okay, and work is a scalar quantity and so is the energy. Okay, both are the scalar units, means both work and energy have only magnitude and no direction. Okay, so force and displacement have a direction, both are vectors, but the product of force and displacement is a scalar quantity. Okay, due to the dot product. Okay, now we have power is equal to energy per unit time. Okay, equal to force into velocity, it's also a dot product. Okay, so power is also a scalar quantity. Okay, even energy per unit time means d by dt. Now both E and T means energy and time are a scalar, so power has to be a scalar. Differentiation of a scalar quantity with a scalar variable is a scalar. Okay, so power is a scalar quantity. Okay, now same like that, like in force, like in work, we have in power, that power is equal to force experienced by the body and velocity of the body in the direction of the force. Okay, now Newton's second law. Okay, so Newton's second law is force experienced by body is the rate of change of linear momentum in that direction. So F is equal to mdv by dt. Okay, mdv is the change of linear momentum and dt, dividing by dt, it gives the rate. Okay, so m dv by dt is the rate of change of linear momentum. Okay, so this is f dt is equal to m v2 minus v1. Okay, or m delta t is equal to m v2 minus v1. Okay, t is time, v is velocity, f is force, m is mass. Now this is the velocity versus time, okay, graph. So we are representing vector v1 and v2 because in the previous we have shown that f dt is equal to m v2 minus v1. So we will see that what will be the direction of f. Okay, so the direction of f will be the direction of the resultant of the two vectors. Okay, means the change. So initially we are having a direction v1. Okay, and finally we are having a direction v2. Okay, so by the triangle's law of vector addition, we just moved the v2. Okay, without changing the direction and the magnitude, we have moved v2, and minus v1 is opposite of the v1. Okay, in the opposite direction having the same magnitude. So v1 minus v1 is along this direction, v1 is along this direction, and minus v1 is along this direction opposite to that of v1. So minus v1 same magnitude but opposite direction. Now resultant of v2 minus v1 is this vector. Okay, this is the vector and this is the direction. Okay, so going from here to here, resultant will be from here to here. Okay, so this is the resultant. Okay, resultant of the two vectors. Now force is equal to m dvt, where both m and time, means both mass and time are scalar quantities, so only vectors are force and velocity. Okay, so force will have the direction of v2 minus v1, means the resultant of both v2 and v1. Okay, okay, so f is in the direction of v resultant. Now f is equal to mass into acceleration, hence both force, acceleration and resultant velocity have the same direction. Okay, where force and f and a are the force and acceleration experienced by the body or acting on the body. Okay, so now you know the direction of force experienced by a body or acceleration experienced by a body is equal to direction of the resultant velocity that the body is having. So acceleration of any body is due to the resultant of force acting on it. If more than one force is acting on a body, acceleration will be in the direction of the resultant of the forces. Okay, means direction of force is equal to direction of acceleration is equal to direction of the resultant velocity, one vector, one direction. Okay, so this is just the superposition principle, that if you are having more than one forces. Okay, so if on a body more than one forces are acting, okay, then what will be the motion of that particle? So motion of the particle will be in the direction of the resultant velocity caused by the resultant of the forces. Okay, so you have to vector sum the all the forces, and the direction of that force, resultant force, will be the direction of motion of that body. Okay, so this way you have found the direction of the motion of the body or direction of the force experienced by the body. Okay, now the main game starts. Okay, so first case is jet is striking on a stationary vertical plate in the normal direction. Okay, so in the normal direction, force applied by the jet on the plate is equal to m v1 minus v2 is equal to rho a v1 v1 minus 0. So this is the force experienced. Okay, now v2 is in the vertical direction while v1 is in the horizontal direction. Okay, now both v2 are moving in the opposite direction, first in up and second in down. Okay, so half of the mass is going up and half of the mass is going down, so the resultant of both mass moving up and down will cancel each other. Okay, so cancel each other, so we will not be facing any drag force or resultant force in the y direction. Okay, because we are not having a v2 component in the y direction. Now in we will face force only in the x direction. Okay, now in x direction the only velocity is the v1. Okay, so v1 is the only velocity, so resultant will be only v1. Okay, the resultant velocity will be v1. So the force experienced by the jet on the plate is equal to mass flow rate into v1 minus v2. Okay, now mass flow rate is equal to rho a v1. Okay, v1 is the magnitude of that velocity. Okay, it's not a vector, it's just a scalar quantity. Okay, rho a v1 is the scalar quantity and v1 is the direction. So we will have the normal force experienced by the jet on the plate is equal to rho a v1 square into v1, means direction is v1 and magnitude is rho a v square. Rho is the density of the fluid, a is the area of cross section of that nozzle, and v1 is the velocity of the fluid coming out of that nozzle. Okay, Now second case is jet striking on a stationary inclined plate. Okay, so this is the inclined plate and this is the velocity of that jet impacting on it, and this is the direction of normal force, and these are the direction of v2. Okay, so once again v2 will cancel each other. Okay, so normal force on that plate is equal to rho a v1 into v1 minus sine theta into 0. Okay, v2 components are cancelling each other both in horizontal and vertical direction, so we are not having any v2 component. We will deal only with v1, and that too in, if we are concerned with the normal force, means the normal to that plate. Okay, so velocity component will also be along the normal. Okay, so v1 sine theta along that normal. So force experienced by the plate will be rho a v1 into v1 sine theta. Okay, once again rho a v1 is the mass flow rate, is a scalar quantity, while this is the vector quantity, means this will show the direction. Okay, okay, so direction is v1 sine theta. Okay, means the normal direction fn. So the normal force experienced, normal force on the plate applied by the jet is equal to rho a v1 square into sine theta. Now we have third case, that jet strikes a vertical stationary hanging plate. Okay, now this is the plate, that the plate initially was a vertical plate, but due to the impact of the jet it has moved. Okay, in this direction. So this theta will be the angle moved by the plate from the vertical direction. Okay, okay, theta is the angle moved by the plate in the vertical from that vertical direction, and a is the distance from the hinge. Okay, distance from the hinge of the impact of the jet. Okay, the v1 is acting here, and this is the a distance from that hinge. Okay, now mg is the weight of the plate acting from the middle portion of the plate. Okay, mg is the weight of that plate acting from its middle portion, means the center of gravity. Now this is v1 and this is also theta. Okay, you can draw the diagram and you can see that this value is also theta. So the normal force experienced by the plate in the normal direction, okay, means the normal force impacted by the jet on that plate is equal to Fn is equal to rho a v1 square cos theta. Okay, you know how we got this. Okay, okay, so you know how we got this. Now taking moments about the hinge. Okay, so anti-clockwise moment is equal to clockwise moment. Okay, so the moment of Fn is anti-clockwise and moment of weight is clockwise. Okay, and both will try to, means the restoring moment of that weight will try to put the plate into the initial position. So we have moment by Fn is equal to moment by weight. Okay, so this is Fn, so we are having Fn in this direction, and this is A. Okay, so we are assuming hinge as the origin, so we are taking distance of the position vector from, we are assuming hinge as the origin, so we are taking position vector from that hinge. Okay, so A is in this direction. Similarly L2 is in this direction and mg is acting downwards, so L2 into mg is clockwise and A into Fn is anti-clockwise. Okay, right hand thumb rule. Okay, you will get the direction of moment. Okay, using the right hand thumb rule. Okay, so here you can find the normal Fn you have found, so you can find the weight of the plate also using this equation. Okay, now fourth case, jet strikes a stationary curved plate at the center. Okay, So this is the curved plate, okay, and at the center, okay, the jet is acting. At the center the jet is acting, so the all the fluid will come out of that plate evenly, means half of the portion will come in this direction and half of the portion will come from this direction, okay, means the fluid is impacting at the center, so the outlet fluid will come half from this direction, half portion of the fluid impacting of the at the center will come out in this direction, and half of that portion will come along this direction, okay. So this is V2 and both are V2, and now V1 is acting at the center, so the angle of inclination, so angle of inclination is the same for both outlet. This is phi, okay. Now we have angle delta. Delta is known as angle of deflection, okay. So angle of deflection is the angle between V1 and V2, okay. So angle between V1 and V2 we have angle of deflection, okay. Now phi is the angle of inclination of the output velocity from the vanes, okay. So once again we have no component of force acting in the vertical direction because both the output are cancelling each other, okay. Both v2 values are cancelling each other. That means the half portion of the fluid is coming in this direction and half portion are coming into this direction, so the vertical force imparted by the outlet are getting cancelled, okay. So we are only left with the force, the momentum change only in the horizontal direction. So force experienced by the plate in the horizontal direction or in the normal direction is equal to rho a v1 into v1 plus v2 cos phi, okay. So this is the magnitude of that force experienced by the plate, okay. Now the direction will be in the direction of the resultant vector, velocity vector, okay. Now jet strikes at the tip of the stationary curved vanes, okay. In the previous we were having the impact on the center. Now in this case we are having the impact at the tip, okay. So both inlet and outlet angle are different here. So at inlet the v1 is having theta and at the outlet v2 is having phi inclination, okay. Once again we are having delta, means the angle of deflection is equal to angle between v1 and v2 and is equal to 180 degree minus phi plus theta, okay. Because this is phi and this is theta, the whole this horizontal line is making an angle of 180 degree, so delta is equal to 180 degree minus phi plus theta, okay. And in this case we have Fn is equal to rho a v1 cos theta plus v2 cos phi, and the vertical component of the force F by is equal to rho a v1 into v1 sin theta minus v2 sin phi, because in this case we will have the vertical component of force experienced by the vane, okay, or the curved plate, okay. Here the Fy component is not getting cancelled, we will have some vertical component of force also, okay. So we are having both horizontal component of force and vertical component of force because velocity is changing in both direction, okay. Now the stationary part is over, means the stationary plate is over. Now we will deal with moving plate, okay. So in moving plate, in the stationary plate we have mass flow rate is equal to rho a v1, but in case of a moving plate we will have mass flow rate as rho a vr1, okay. In the stationary plate we are having rho a v1, while in the moving plate we will have mass flow rate is equal to rho a vr1. So vr1 is the relative velocity, okay, relative velocity of one, is equal to v1 minus u. U is the velocity of that plate, okay, that is moving. And work done per second by the jet is equal to force into direction of the force, direction of the velocity, okay, in that direction. Now jet strikes, this is the final. So jet strikes the moving inclined flat plate, okay. So the flat plate is inclined one and this is moving with the velocity u, okay. So theta is the inclination of that plate with the horizontal, okay, and this is the Fn, means the normal force, okay. Now I am showing the component of velocity in the direction of Fn, okay. Okay. So this is that force is impacting horizontally in the direction v1. V1 is the horizontal direction, okay, zero inclination. So this is the velocity of the jet impacting on that inclined plane having the inclination theta, okay, and u is the velocity of that plate in the horizontal direction. So u is the velocity of the plate in the horizontal direction. Now we are concerned with the force impacted by the jet in the normal direction. So we have to be concerned with the velocity component in the normal direction, okay. So we have to concern with u sin theta and v1 having component normal to the plate, so v1 sin theta. So Fn will be rho a Vr1 square, because rho a Vr will be the mass flow rate and Vr will be the will the relative velocity, means the change of velocity. Vr1 is the change in velocity. So Vr1 is equal to v1 sin theta minus u sin theta is equal to v1 minus u sin theta, okay. So Fn will be rho a Vr1 square, okay. You can do this, you don't need to do this, that this is the thing, you can see it, okay. Now we have efficiency of power transferred by the jet, okay. So efficiency of power transferred by the jet is equal to force into velocity of that moving plate, okay, by the total kinetic energy of that fluid impacting on that plate, okay. Here m is not mass flow rate, it's total mass of that fluid, and v1 is the velocity of the fluid, okay. M is the total mass of the fluid and v1 is the velocity of that fluid, okay. So efficiency is equal to output by input, and input we are having as the kinetic energy half mv1 square, and at the output we are having work done by the jet, okay. So here we are over. So this is not rho a v1, okay, this is not rho a v1. So thank you.